Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, watching the stars drift past the main view screen. The exploration vessel had been mapping the Kepler 442 system for 3 weeks now, and the crew was getting restless. Space exploration meant long periods of routine scanning and data collection, broken only by the occasional discovery of an interesting asteroid or gas pocket. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," called out Navigation Officer Pete Collins from his station. His fingers danced across the holographic display, bringing up a 3-dimensional map of the local space around them. Jake walked over to Pete's station, his boots clicking against the metal deck plating. "What kind of something?" "Emergency beacon?" "Sir, it's coming from near the 4th planet's moon system. The signal is weak, but it's definitely artificial." Pete adjusted the controls, and a faint red dot appeared on the display. Jake frowned. No human ships were supposed to be in this sector. The nearest colony was 3 weeks away at maximum warp, and the UES Horizon was the only exploration vessel assigned to this region. "Can you identify the source?" "Working on it now, Captain." Pete's brow furrowed as he studied the readouts. "The signal pattern is unknown. It's not matching any human emergency codes in our database." The bridge fell, silent except for the steady hum of the ship's engines. Jake felt that familiar tingle in his spine that came before important decisions. As a captain, he'd learned to trust that feeling over the years. "Sir, I'm detecting debris scattered around the beacon's location," reported Sensors Officer Amy. "Chun, whatever it is, it looks like it took a beating." Jake made his decision. "Change course to intercept. All stop when we're within scanner range." "Captain, our orders are to complete the survey of this system," reminded First Officer Carl Brooks. "Command won't be happy if we deviate from the mission schedule." "Someone's in trouble out there, Carl. We're not going to ignore a distress call just to scan another empty rock." Jake's voice carried the quiet authority that made his crew trust him completely. The UES Horizon changed direction, its massive engines pushing the ship toward the unknown signal. As they drew closer, the main view screen showed a field of twisted metal and crystalline debris floating in space. In the center of it all was a small vessel, its hull cracked and venting atmosphere. "My God," whispered Amy. "Captain, there are life signs aboard that ship." "Faint, but definitely there." Jake's heart rate picked up. "How many?" "2, sir. 1 adult and 1 smaller signature, possibly a child." The alien vessel was unlike anything in the Federation databases. Its hull seemed to be made of some kind of living crystal that pulsed with dim light. Even damaged, it was beautiful in a way that no human ship could match. "Prep a rescue team," Jake ordered. "I want portable life support, medical equipment, and cutting tools. We're going over there." "Captain, we don't know anything about their atmosphere requirements or biology," Carl protested. "This could be dangerous." "That's why we're bringing portable life support," Jake replied. "Get Dr. Helen Martinez to the shuttle bay. She need to be ready for anything." 15 minutes later, Jake found himself in a rescue shuttle with 4 other crew members approaching the alien vessel. The ship's design was even more stunning up close, with intricate patterns carved into its crystalline hull that seemed to shift and flow like living art. "Hull breach on the port side," reported Technician Gary Adams. "We can get in through there." They docked their shuttle against the damaged section and cut through the remaining hull plating. Jake was the first to enter the alien ship, his helmet lights illuminating a corridor that looked more like the inside of a cave than a spacecraft. The walls were smooth crystal that reflected their lights in rainbow patterns. They found the first survivor in what appeared to be a control room. She was tall, about 6 feet, with skin that looked like polished gemstone. Her color was a deep blue that seemed to pulse with her breathing. She was unconscious but alive. "Over here," called Dr. Martinez from another room. "I found the second one." Jake hurried to the doctor's location and found her kneeling beside a small figure. It was clearly a child, maybe 12 years old, with the same crystalline skin as the adult but in a lighter blue shade mixed with amber streaks. The child's eyes were open, watching them with a mixture of fear and hope. "Easy there," Jake said softly, removing his helmet so the child could see his face. We're here to help. The child said something in a musical language that their universal translator couldn't parse. Her skin shifted to a brighter amber, and she moved protectively toward the unconscious adult. "Mother?" the child said suddenly, the word coming out in heavily accented English. "Mother sick." Jake felt his heart clench. This child was trying to protect her mother with nothing but her small body and fierce determination. "We're going to help your mother," he said gently. "My name is Jake. What's your name?" The child studied his face carefully, her skin shifting through several colors before settling on a pale green. "Kira," she said quietly. "I am Kira." "Hello, Kira. Can you tell me what happened to your ship?" Kira's skin darkened to deep purple, and tears began flowing down her cheeks. "Bad men came. They hurt father, they hurt ship. Father not wake up." Jake exchanged a look with Dr. Martinez. The doctor was already working on the adult woman, checking her vital signs with portable medical equipment. "She's alive but weak," Dr. Martinez reported. "I need to get her to our medical bay immediately." "What about the father?" Jake asked Kira gently. Kira's skin turned almost black, and she shook her head sadly. "Father gone? Gone to the stars." Jake understood. The child's father was dead, and she was trying to take care of her mother alone. No child should have to face that kind of responsibility. "Kira, we're going to take you and your mother to our ship. Our doctor will take good care of her, I promise." The child looked at him with eyes that held too much sadness for someone so young. "You promise? You help mother?" "I promise," Jake said firmly. "We won't leave you alone." As they carefully moved both survivors to the rescue shuttle, Jake noticed that Kira never left her mother's side. The child held the woman's hand throughout the transfer, her skin shifting between blue and amber as she watched every move the human crew made. Back on the UES horizon, Dr. Martinez got the adult woman settled in the medical bay while Jake took Kira to the observation lounge. The child pressed her face against the large window, watching the stars drift by. "Your mother's going to be okay," Jake told her. "Dr. Martinez is very good at helping people." Kira nodded but didn't look away from the stars. "Mother not eat. Mother not talk, not since father gone." Jake sat down beside her, and they watched the stars together in silence for a while. Finally, Kira turned to him, her skin shifting to that deep purple color of despair. "Please, human," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Please make my mother happy again." 3 days passed as the UES Horizon traveled toward the nearest Federation outpost. Jake found himself spending more time in the medical bay than anywhere else on the ship, watching over their 2 alien guests. The woman, who Kira called Lyra, had awakened briefly but seemed lost in her own world of sadness. Dr. Martinez pulled Jake aside after her latest examination. "Physically, she's healing well, but there's something else going on. She barely responds to stimuli, won't eat unless Kira forces her to, and she just stares at nothing for hours." Jake looked through the medical bay window at Lyra sitting on the bed while Kira tried to get her to drink some water. The child's skin kept shifting between worried yellow and determined orange as she coaxed her mother. "What do you think it is?" Jake asked. "I'm not sure. It's like she's given up completely. I've seen similar symptoms in humans who've lost the will to live after traumatic events." Jake watched Kira gently stroke her mother's hair while speaking in their musical language. The child was trying so hard to bring life back to her mother's eyes, but Lyra barely seemed to notice her daughter's efforts. Later that evening, Jake found Kira in the observation lounge again staring out at the stars. Her skin was a deep blue that reminded him of the ocean during a storm. "How's your mother tonight?" he asked, sitting beside her. "Same," Kira replied quietly. "She eat little bit. She not talk to me." Jake noticed the child's English was getting better each day. She was picking up words from the crew with remarkable speed. "Kira, can you tell me more about what happened to your father?" The child's skin shifted to that dark purple color he'd learned meant deep sadness. "Father was warrior. He protect our research station from bad men who want to steal mother's work. Mother make plants grow in space. Very important work." Jake nodded, encouraging her to continue. Bad men come with big ships. Father fight them, but they're too many. He tell Mother and me to run in our ship. Last thing he say was take care of each other. Kira's voice broke slightly. I'm sorry, Kira. Your father sounds like he was very brave. Father was best warrior in our clan. But Mother say fighting not solve everything. She say knowledge and kindness more important. Kira turned to look at Jake. Mother right, but now she not remember her own words. Jake felt a deep ache in his chest. This child was carrying such a heavy burden, trying to be strong for her mother while dealing with her own grief. Kira, do you know why your mother won't eat or talk? The child's skin shifted to a pale silver, which Jake hadn't seen before. In our culture, when life partner die, sometimes the other person gets soul drift. They slowly fade away because they think they're supposed to follow their partner to the star realm. Soul drift? Like when part of person's spirit go with the dead one. What left behind too weak to live. Kira's skin darkened again. I think Mother have soul drift. She want to join Father in stars. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. But that would leave you alone. Yes, Kira whispered. That why I so scared. I not want to be alone. The next morning, Jake decided to try a different approach. He asked Dr. Martinez to bring Lyra to the ship's botanical section, thinking that being around plants might help someone who worked with growing things. When they arrived, Lyra's eyes showed the first sign of interest Jake had seen. She walked slowly between the rows of vegetables and flowers that the crew grew for fresh food, her crystalline skin shifting from deep blue to a slightly lighter shade. These are earth plants, Jake explained. We grow them to supplement our food supplies during long missions. Lyra stopped beside a tomato plant and gently touched one of the leaves. For a moment, her skin flickered with tiny sparkles of green. Beautiful, she said quietly. It was the first word Jake had heard her speak. You understand English? Jake asked gently. Lyra nodded slowly. Kira, teach me. She learned from your crew, then teach me. Jake smiled. Your daughter is very smart. She get that from her father, Lyra said, and her skin immediately darkened again. And from her mother, Jake added. Kira told me about your work with space. Agriculture, that takes incredible intelligence. Lyra looked at him with surprise, as if she'd forgotten that she was once a scientist. You know about my research? A little. Kira is very proud of her mother's work. She says you can make plants grow where nothing should be able to live. For the first time, Lyra's skin showed a faint hint of pink. I developed techniques to create soil from asteroid minerals. Plants that can survive in low gravity and artificial atmosphere. That's amazing! Do you think these earth plants could be adapted for space colonies? As they talked about plants and growing techniques, Jake noticed Lyra becoming more animated. Her skin shifted through several colors, settling on a soft yellow that seemed to indicate contentment or interest. They spent an hour discussing different approaches to space agriculture. Lyra even smiled when Jake mentioned some of the challenges his crew faced growing food during their long exploration missions. I could help, she said suddenly, then caught herself. I mean, if I was going to be here longer. Where are you planning to go? Jake asked carefully. Lyra's skin dimmed again. I not know. Solari colonies not want widow with soul drift? They think I bring bad luck. That's ridiculous. You're a brilliant scientist, not bad luck. My people think different? When warrior die defending honor, wife should follow him to stars. Not proper for me to stay alive. Jake felt anger rising in his chest. That's not right. What about Kira? She needs her mother. Kira's strong. She find new family. Lyra's voice was sad but resigned. She doesn't want a new family. She wants her mother to be happy again. That evening, Jake found Kira in the corridor outside the medical bay, her skin shifting between amber and purple as she watched her mother sleep. She talked today, Kira said with hope in her voice. Yes, she did. She told me about her work with plants. Mother loved plants. She always say plants teach us about life. They grow strong even in hard places. Jake knelt down beside the child. Kira, your mother is sick in her heart, not her body. She's forgotten how to be happy because she misses your father so much. I know, Kira replied. But I not know how. To fix broken heart. Sometimes broken hearts heal when they find new reasons to hope. Kira looked at him with those wise eyes that seemed too old for her young face. You make mother talk today. She not talk to anyone else. Maybe she just needed to remember that she's still a scientist, not just someone who lost her husband. You think mother can be happy again? Jake looked at this brave child who refused to give up on her mother. I think your mother is very lucky to have a daughter who loves her so much. And I think she's stronger than she knows. Kira's skin shifted to a pale gold color that Jake hadn't seen before. Human Jake, will you help me save mother from soul drift? I'll do everything I can, Kira, that's a promise. As they stood together watching Lyra sleep, Jake realized that this alien mother and daughter had already changed something in him. He'd started this mission as a simple exploration captain, but now he felt responsible for their well-being in a way that went beyond duty. The next morning brought an unexpected challenge that would test all of them. The alarm bells started ringing just as Jake finished his morning coffee. Red lights flashed throughout the ship as the crew rushed to their battle stations. Jake ran to the bridge, his boots pounding against the metal deck. Report, he called, out as he took his captain's chair. 3 ships approaching fast, sir, reported Pete Collins. They're not responding to our hails and their weapon systems are active. Jake's jaw tightened. Pirates? Most likely, Captain. They've got the look of raiders and they're moving in attack formation. Jake thought quickly. The UES Horizon was an exploration vessel, not a warship. They had defensive systems, but nothing that could match 3 attack ships in a straight fight. Where are our guests? He asked. Lyra and Kira are in the medical bay, reported Carl Brooks. Get them to the emergency shelter immediately, and make sure they understand they need to stay there no matter what happens. The ship shuddered as the first energy blast hit their shields. Jake gripped his chair as the lights flickered. Shields down to 80%, called out Amy Chun from the sensors station. Return fire. Target their engines, not their life support, Jake ordered. Even with pirates, he wouldn't kill unless he had no choice. The next few minutes were chaos. The Horizon twisted and turned through space, trying to stay ahead of the attacking ships while their gunners looked for clear shots. Jake coordinated the defense while part of his mind worried about Lyra and Kira cowering in the emergency shelter. Captain, I'm reading a power buildup in the lead ship, Amy reported. They're charging some kind of heavy weapon. Jake made a split-second decision. All power to engines. We're going to ram them. Sir? Carl looked at him with surprise. It's a bluff. They won't expect a cargo ship to attack head-on. They'll break formation to avoid us. The Horizon accelerated straight at the lead pirate ship. Jake watched the view screen as they got closer and closer. His heart hammered in his chest, but he kept his voice steady. Hold course, he ordered at the last second. The pirate ship veered away, exactly as Jake had predicted. The sudden maneuver threw their formation into chaos, and the Horizon's gunners took advantage, disabling 2 of the 3 ships. The 3rd ship tried to flee, but Jake had anticipated that too. Cut them off, Pete. Don't let them reach jump distance. Within an hour, all 3 pirate ships were disabled and their crews taken prisoner. The Horizon had suffered some damage, but nothing serious. More importantly, no one had been killed. Jake found Lyra and Kira still in the emergency shelter when the all-clear signal sounded. Kira ran to him immediately, her skin bright orange with worry. Human Jake, you safe? She asked, checking him. For injuries, I'm fine, Kira. How are you and your mother? Lyra approached more slowly, her skin shifting between several colors. You fought to protect us? She said quietly. I fought to protect my ship and crew. You're part of that now. But we strangers. Why you risk your life for strangers? Jake looked at her seriously. Because it's the right thing to do. That's what humans do. Lyra's skin flickered with pink sparks. Your husband was warrior who died protecting others. You show same courage, but different way. Your husband, Jake corrected gently. And thank you. Over the next few days, something changed between them. Lyra began spending time on the bridge, watching how Jake and his crew worked together. She was fascinated by their teamwork and the way they trusted each other completely. "In my culture, warriors fight alone," she told Jake one evening as they watched the stars from the observation lounge. "But humans fight together. Like pack animals, but with intelligence. We're stronger together than apart," Jake agreed. "That's one of the things that makes humanity special. Kira say humans make families from people not related by blood. This true? Yes, we call them chosen families. People who care about each other become family through love, not just genetics." Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "Is this how you treat me and Kira, like family?" "You're family now," Jake said simply. "As far as I'm concerned, you're part of my crew." When they reached the Federation outpost, Jake faced a difficult decision. His orders were to continue the exploration mission, but Lyra and Kira had nowhere to go. The Zilari colonies wouldn't accept them, and they couldn't stay on a military outpost indefinitely. "I could request permission to take them to Earth," Carl suggested during a staff meeting. "They might be granted refugee status." "Earth is months away," Jake replied, "and I'm not sure they'd be happy in such a crowded place." "What about New Terra?" suggested Dr. Martinez. "It's a newer colony with lots of space. They're always looking for skilled people, and Lyra's agricultural knowledge would be valuable." Jake made his decision. "Change course for New Terra. I'll take responsibility for the mission delay." "Captain, Command isn't going to like this," Carl warned. "Then Command can court-martial me. I'm not abandoning them." When Jake told Lyra and Kira about the plan, their reactions were completely different. Kira's skin turned bright silver with excitement, but Lyra's darkened with worry. "You get in trouble because of us?" Lyra said. "This not fair to you." "Let me worry about that," Jake replied. "The important thing is finding you and Kira a safe place to live." "But what if we not fit in with human colonists? What if they not accept aliens?" Jake smiled. "Then they'll have to deal with me. And I can be very persuasive when I need to be." The journey to New Terra took 2 weeks. During that time, Jake found himself spending more and more time with Lyra and Kira. He taught them about human culture. While they shared stories about Zilari customs and beliefs, Lyra was amazed by human adaptability. "Your people live in so many different ways," she observed. "On hot worlds, cold worlds, underground, and space stations. How you survive everywhere." "We're stubborn," Jake said with a laugh, "and we help each other. When humans find a challenge, we work together to solve it." "Like family," Kira added, her skin glowing with understanding. "Exactly like family." Lyra began helping with the ship's botanical section, using her knowledge to improve their growing techniques. The crew was impressed by her innovations, and she seemed to gain confidence with each success. "You're brilliant," Jake told her one day as they worked together reprogramming the growing systems. "Your ideas are revolutionizing how we think about space agriculture." Lyra's skin turned a soft pink, the first time Jake had seen that color on her. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I forgot I was scientist. After my husband died, I only remember being widow." "You're both," Jake said gently. "You're a widow who lost someone important, and you're a scientist who can help feed colonies across the galaxy. You don't have to choose between them." "Humans very wise about these things," Lyra observed. "We've had a lot of practice dealing with loss and moving forward." That evening, Jake found Kira in the corridor outside her quarters, her skin shifting between colors rapidly. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I scared," Kira admitted. "What if humans on New Terra not like us? What if Mother gets sad again?" Jake knelt down to her level. "Kira, your mother is getting stronger every day. She's remembering who she is besides just someone who lost her husband. That's because you never gave up on her. You helped too," Kira sighed. "You show her humans can be trusted. You show her she still have value. She always had value. She just needed to remember it." Kira looked at him with those wise eyes. "Mother smiled today when she worked with plants. First real smile since Father died." "That's good. That means she's healing." "Human Jake, what happened after we get to New Terra? You leave us there and go back to space?" Jake felt a pang in his chest. He'd been trying not to think about that. "My job is exploring space, Kira, but I'll make sure you and your mother are safe and happy before I go. But what if we're not happy without you? The question hit Jake harder than he expected. Over the past few weeks, he'd grown attached to both Lyra and Kira in ways he hadn't anticipated. They'd become part of his daily routine, part of his life. We'll figure it out, he said finally. Whatever happens, I won't abandon you. Kira's skin shifted to that pale gold color that meant hope. Promise? Promise? Jake said, and meant it more than he'd ever meant anything in his life. New Terra appeared on the view screen like a blue and green jewel floating in space. The young colony world had wide oceans and vast continents covered in forests and grasslands. It looked peaceful and welcoming, exactly the kind of place where someone could start a new life. Jake stood on the bridge watching the planet grow larger as they approached. In a few hours, they would dock at the orbital station, and then Lyra and Kira would begin their new lives as colonists. The thought made his chest feel tight with an emotion he didn't want to name. It's beautiful, Lyra said softly from beside him. She had taken to spending time on the bridge during their final approach, her skin shifting through gentle colors as she watched their destination. The colony reports say the soil is perfect for agriculture, Jake told her. You'll be able to set up your research there, maybe even teach at their new university. And Kira will go to school with human children, Lyra added, but her voice sounded uncertain. Jake glanced at her. You're worried. What if we not fit in? What if humans there not as kind as your crew? They will be, Jake said with more confidence than he felt. And if they're not, I'll make sure the colony administration knows how valuable you are. Lyra's skin flickered with pink sparks. You have done so much for us already. Too much, not too much, just enough. That evening, Jake found Kira sitting alone in the observation lounge, staring out at New Terra. Her skin was shifting rapidly between colors. Something he'd learned meant she was thinking hard about something troubling. How are you feeling about tomorrow? He asked, sitting beside her. Scared, Kira admitted. Excited too, but mostly scared. That's normal when you're starting somewhere new. I felt the same way when I first joined Starfleet. Kira turned to look at him, her skin settling into a pale blue. Human Jake, can I ask you something important? Of course. You care about Mother, yes? Not just because you rescue us, but really care. Jake felt his heart skip. Yes, I care about your mother very much. And you care about me too? You know I do, Kira. You're like the daughter I never had. Kira's skin shifted to silver and she took a deep breath. Then I have requests to make. Very important request. Something in her tone made Jake nervous. What kind of request? Kira slid off her chair and stood in front of him, her small hands clasped together. Her skin was cycling through colors so fast it was almost dizzying. In Zalari culture, if parent sick with soul drift and child, think bond union with good person. Help parent heal, child can make formal request for marriage bond. Jake's eyes widened. Kira, what are you saying? I saying, please, human Jake, will you marry my mother? The words hit Jake like a physical blow. He stared at the small alien girl standing before him with tears streaming down her face and her skin blazing with desperate hope. Kira, I don't think you understand what you're asking. I understand perfect, Kira said firmly. Mother getting better because of you? She smile now, she talk, she remember she scientist. But tomorrow we leave ship and maybe she gets sad again. Maybe soul drift come back. Marriage isn't something you do just to help someone feel better, Jake said gently. It has to be because two people love each other. You not love Mother? Kira asked, her skin darkening with worry. Jake felt his face grow hot. I care about your mother very much, but love is complicated. Mother's skin turned pink when she talked to you. That love color for Zalari. And your face get red when you look at her? That love color for humans, yes? Jake realized he'd been caught by a 12-year-old alien who was far too observant for her own good. Kira, even if I have feelings for your mother, I can't marry someone. Just because her daughter asks me to? Your mother would have to want that too. What if she do want it? What if I ask her? No, Jake said quickly. Don't ask her that. It would put too much pressure on her. Kira's skin shifted to deep purple and fresh tears started flowing. Then Mother will get soul drift again when you leave. She will fade away, and I be alone. Jake pulled the crying child into his arms, his heart breaking at her desperation. Kira, your mother is stronger now. She won't fade away. You not understand, Kira sobbed against his chest. Zelari who lose life partner need new reason to live. Work help little bit, but not enough. Mother need love again, or she eventually die from soul drift. What are you saying? Mother care about you. I see it in her colors, hear it in her voice. You only human who make her really happy since father die. If you leave tomorrow, she lose hope again. Jake held the trembling child and felt his world shift around him. He'd known he cared about Lyra, but he told himself it was just protective instinct. Now Kira was forcing him to examine feelings he'd been trying to ignore. Kira, marriage between different species is very complicated. There are laws and regulations. Federation law allow interspecies marriage if both people consent, Kira said. Into his chest, I look it up on ship computer. Of course she had. Jake found himself caught between amazement at her thoroughness and panic at the situation she'd created. Even if that's true, I can't ask your mother to marry me just to save her from soul drift. That wouldn't be fair to her. What if not just to save her? What if you really love her? A question hung in the air between them. Jake realized he didn't have a good answer because he'd been afraid to ask himself the same thing, unknown to both of them. Lyra had been approaching the observation lounge to find them. She stopped in the corridor when she heard their voices, her enhanced Zelari hearing picking up every word. Her skin cycled through dozens of colors as she listened to her daughter's desperate plea and Jake's gentle but firm responses. When Kira asked if Jake really loved her, Lyra felt her heart stop. She'd been trying to ignore her own growing feelings for the human captain, telling herself it was just gratitude for his kindness. But hearing Kira voice what she'd been afraid to think made her realize the truth. She did love Jake Morrison. She loved his strength and gentleness, his unwavering moral compass, and the way he'd brought light back into her dark world. She loved how he treated Kira like his own child and how he'd risked his career to give them a chance at happiness. But she also knew that Kira's approach was wrong. Love couldn't be demanded or requested like a favor. It had to be freely given. Lyra stepped into the doorway of the observation lounge, her skin glowing with deep gold light that neither Jake nor Kira had ever seen before. Kira, she said softly. Both Jake and Kira turned toward her voice. Kira's skin went pale with embarrassment at being caught, while Jake's face turned bright red. Mother, I sorry, Kira started to say. Come here, little star, Lyra said gently. Kira reluctantly left Jake's arms and walked to her mother. Lyra knelt down and took her daughter's hands. I heard what you asked Jake, Lyra said. That was very brave of you, but also very wrong. But, Mother, you love him. I see it in your colors. Lyra's skin darkened slightly. What I feel is not something you should manage, daughter. Love must be chosen freely, not requested by children. But if I not ask, you never tell him how you feel. You too scared. Lyra looked up at Jake, who was watching them both with an expression of confusion and hope. Perhaps I am scared, she admitted, but that is my choice to make. She stood up and faced Jake directly, her skin shifting to that deep gold color again. Jake Morrison, I must apologize for my daughter's boldness. She should not have put you in such a difficult position. Lyra, it's okay. She's just worried about you. I know why she worried. She see that I have feelings for you that go beyond gratitude. Lyra's voice was steady despite the color storm playing across her skin. But I also know that love cannot be forced or requested. It must be given freely by both people. Jake stared at her, his heart pounding. Lyra, are you saying? I'm saying that my daughter is right about one thing. I do care for you more than I should probably admit. But I also saying that tomorrow we will go to New Terra as planned, and you will continue your mission as planned. What we feel for each other does not change duty. The three of them stood in silence, the weight of unspoken emotions filling the space between them. Outside the window, New Terra continued its slow rotation. beautiful and peaceful, and completely unaware of the drama playing out aboard the ship approaching its orbital station. Finally, Jake spoke. "And what if I don't want to continue my mission?" "As planned?" Lyra's skin blazed with gold light. "What you mean?" "What if I want to stay?" Before Lyra could answer Jake's question about staying, the ship's communication system crackled to life. The voice that came through was speaking in the musical Zilari language, but Jake could hear the harsh tone even without understanding the words. Kira's skin immediately went black with terror. "No," she whispered. "They found us. Who found us?" Jake demanded, but Lyra was already moving toward the communication panel. Her own skin dark with fear, she spoke rapidly in Zilari, her voice getting more agitated with each exchange. Finally, she turned to Jake, her face pale beneath her crystalline skin. "Zilari military ships, 3 of them. They demand I return with them immediately. On what authority?" Jake asked, his captain instincts taking over. "They say I'm criminal for abandoning my duty to follow my husband into death. They say I corrupt a Zilari culture by living when I should have died." Jake felt rage building in his chest. "That's insane. You're not a criminal for wanting to live. In their eyes, I am. And they say Kira must return too, to be raised properly by traditional Zilari families." Kira ran to Jake and grabbed his arm, her skin cycling through every color of terror and desperation. "Please not let them take me. I not want to go back. I want to stay with you and Mother." Jake pulled the child close while his mind raced. 3 military ships against 1 exploration vessel wasn't good odds, but he'd faced worse situations. "Can we outrun them?" he asked his bridge crew over the comm. "Negative, sir," came Pete's voice. "They're military fast-attack ships." "We're a cargo hauler." Jake made his decision. "All hands to battle stations, and get me a channel to the lead Zilari ship." "Jake, no," Lyra said urgently. "You cannot fight Zilari military. It will cause incident between the Federation and my people." "Then we'll find another way," Jake replied grimly, on the bridge. Jake faced the main view screen where a stern-looking Zilari male in military uniform glared back at him. The alien's skin was a cold silver blue that reminded Jake of winter ice. "Aye. And Commander Zeth Kalar of the Zilari Defense Fleet. You will surrender the criminal, Lyra Vextani and her offspring immediately. I am Captain Jake Morrison of the Federation vessel Use Horizon. Lyra and Kira are under my protection as refugees. I will not surrender them. They are Zilari citizens who have violated sacred law. Your Federation has no authority over internal Zilari justice." Jake felt Lyra step up beside him, her skin glowing with determination despite her fear. "Commander Zeth Kalar, I invoke the right of truth-telling before the ancestors. I challenge your accusations." Zilari commander's skin flickered with surprise. "You lost that right when you chose dishonor over duty. I chose life over death for my daughter's sake. There is no dishonor in protecting one's child." "Your husband was my battle brother," the commander replied, his skin darkening with anger. "He died believing you would follow him as tradition demands. You have betrayed his memory." Kira suddenly stepped forward, her young voice clear and strong. "Commander Zeth Kalar? My father's last words were, 'Take care of each other.' He not say, 'Die together.' He say, 'Take care.' Children do not speak in matters of law." The commander snapped. "This child speaks truth," Jake interjected. "And if, your law demands that mothers abandon their children to death, then your law is wrong. You dare judge Zilari tradition, human?" "I judge any tradition that hurts innocent people," Jake replied firmly, "and I won't let you take them." The standoff continued for several tense minutes until Dr. Martinez's voice came over the comm. "Captain, you need to see something. I've, been analyzing the data from Lyra's destroyed research station." Jake looked at Lyra, who nodded. "Put it on screen, Doctor." Dr. Martinez appeared on a side monitor holding a datapad. The attack on the research station wasn't random piracy. The raiders were specifically targeting Lyra's work on space agriculture. But here's the interesting part. Someone gave them detailed information about the station's defenses and Lyra's research schedule. Jake felt pieces clicking together in his mind. Someone on the inside. That's what the data suggests. And Captain, one of the communication logs shows contact with a Zalari military frequency just hours before the attack. Commander Zethkalar-S. Skin color shifted rapidly, a sign Jake had learned meant extreme agitation. These accusations are ridiculous, are they? Jake asked. Dr. Martinez, can you trace that military frequency? Already did, sir. It originated from the flagship of the Zalari Defense Fleet, the same ship that's sitting in front of us right now. The silence that followed was deafening. Lyra stared at the view screen with growing horror as the implications became clear. You, she whispered. You arranged my husband's death to steal my research. Prove it, the commander snarled. But his skin was now flashing between silver and black, colors Jake recognized as guilt and fear. I don't have to prove it, Jake said calmly. I just have to present the evidence to the Federation Council and let them investigate. I'm sure they'll be very interested in learning about Zalari military officers working with pirates. You have no authority. Actually, I do, Jake interrupted. Attacks on Federation citizens by pirates assisted by foreign military forces fall under interstellar crime jurisdiction. That makes this a Federation matter now. Commander Zethkalar-S skin went completely black. You cannot prove Zalari military involvement. Kira stepped forward again, her skin blazing with silver courage. I was there when bad men attack. I hear. Them talk? They know exactly where father would be? Exactly when mother would be alone in lab? They know because someone tell them. And now you're here to finish the job, Jake added. Take Lyra back and make sure she can't expose what really happened. The Zalari commander's composure cracked completely. Her research could revolutionize agriculture across the galaxy. It belongs to the Zalari people, not some broken widow. There it is, Jake said with satisfaction, a full confession recorded by both our ship's computers. Lyra's skin shifted to brilliant white, a color Jake had never seen before. My husband died protecting research you wanted to steal, and you would take me back to die in shame while you profit from his sacrifice. The greater good sometimes requires difficult choices, the commander said weakly. Murder is never for the greater good, Jake replied. And neither is forcing someone to die for your convenience. The next few hours were tense as Jake contacted the Federation authorities. Within a day, Federation patrol ships arrived to arrest the Zalari conspirators. Commander Zethkalar and his crew were taken into custody, while Lyra and Kira were officially granted refugee status. Standing in the observation lounge of New Terra's orbital station, Jake watched his ship being resupplied for its next mission. He'd been relieved of command pending a full investigation, but he wasn't worried. The evidence against the Zalari conspirators was overwhelming, so what happens now? Lyra asked, joining him at the window. Her skin was a peaceful blue-green that reminded him of Earth's oceans. Now, you and Kira start your new lives as colonists, Jake replied. The colony administration is thrilled to have a xenobotanist of your caliber. They're already talking about building a research facility for you. And you? Jake smiled. Command offered me a choice. Take a reprimand and continue exploring, or accept a promotion to colony administration here on New Terra. Lyra's skin flickered with hope. What did you tell them? I told them I'd found something more interesting than mapping empty star systems. Kira came running into the lounge, her skin bright silver with excitement. Human Jake, mother. Come. See, they have schools here with human children and alien children together. And they have gardens where I can help grow food for the colony. Jake knelt down to her level. Are you happy, Kira? Very happy. But happiest because you staying with U.S. Actually, Jake said, standing and turning to Lyra, there's something I need to ask your mother first. Lyra's skin began shifting through rainbow colors as Jake took her hands in his. Lyra Vexthani, I know we've only known each other for a few weeks. I know we're from different worlds and different species. But I've learned that the best families aren't the ones you're born into. They're the ones you choose. Lyra's skin was now glowing so brightly that other people in the station were stopping to stare. I choose you, Jake continued. One choose Kira. I'd choose this crazy, impossible, wonderful family we've built together. Will you marry me? Yes, Lara whispered, then louder. Yes, of course, yes. Kira's skin exploded into pure white light as she launched herself at both of them, wrapping her arms around their waists. I told you so, she said smugly. I told you. Mother love you, and you love Mother. 6 months later, Jake stood in the colony's new research facility, watching Lyra work with a team of human and alien scientists to develop new agricultural techniques. Kira was in the next room, teaching other children about Zalari culture while learning human customs from them. The three of them had officially married in a ceremony that blended human and Zalari traditions, with Kira serving as both maid of honor and ring bearer. The colony had welcomed them as heroes, especially after news spread about how they'd exposed the corruption in the Zalari military. Admiral Morrison, came a voice behind him. Jake turned to see Pete Collins, who now served as his deputy administrator. Just Jake, Pete. We're not in space anymore. The new family's orientation is ready, sir. 3 more mixed-species families arrived this week.